Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation, and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today, our topic is 2021, the way forward. If you are not moving forward, you are falling back. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. It is the way to live life. If 2020 was a year of changes, uphills, and becoming resilient, then 2021 is definitely seen as a year of hope and stability, both in our lives and in those of our children. 2021 is a year of sustainability of efforts at the government and individual levels to keep the pandemic at bay, and there is much yet needs to be done. Simple, holistic lifestyle changes can gradually have great positive impacts on our personalities, relationships, and societal level. The COVID-19 pandemic destroying millions of lives and livelihoods across the world. However, it taught families that they could lead a economical life and still survive. A life in which families were largely confined to their homes. There was no travel either for leisure or for business, whether by air or train or using one's own car. There was no going to malls, no eating out in restaurants. The result was that economies started to contract and report negative GDP this fiscal. There was a debate in India about GDP contracting by a huge 24% during the first quarter of 2020 2021. If we learned anything from 2020, it was to expect the unexpected, and it was a learning year for businesses across the board. Those that survived came out the other and looking much different than before, with new processes, procedures, and priorities in place. As we look to 2021 and eventually to a post pandemic world, agility has become even more critical to a business survival. Current research from McKinsey suggests that the reskilling challenge will be particularly acute in operationally intensive sectors such as manufacturing, transportation, and retail, and operations aligned occupations such as maintenance, claim processing, and warehouse order picking. As one of the largest employers of essential workers, manufacturers need to ensure they prioritize the needs of their workforce in order to retain and develop talent and remain competitive. Being able to accommodate these needs in an agile manner, though technology and training today will ultimately make organizations more resilient to the rapid change that will continue well into the future. Well, while some may be wary of being too optimistic, psychology experts says feeling hopeful for 2021 is a welcome change. And hope indeed is what we have. Because throughout 2020, amazing advances have given hope that rose in science, technology, digital health, leaderships, and in basic human care and kindness. Humanity clearly showed its strength throughout the difficulties. Random people helping each other in shopping and support groups, lifting those struggling with challenges. People dancing on balconies and really caring for each other like never before, and messages of hope, love, and support soaring to medical personnel all over the world. Praises the kindness shown by people around the world, the tireless efforts of frontline workers, the scientists who have developed vaccines in record time, and the countries making new advances to save the planet from climate catastrophe Secretary General of United Nations, Mr. Antonio, expressed his wish for a year of healing. I quote, 2020 has been a year of trials, tragedies, and tears, but a new year lies ahead, and with it, we see rays of hope. Working together in unity and solidarity, we will make 2021 a year of healing, unquote. And recently, Government of India has also approved 2 vaccines, apart from the approval which has been given by UK, USA, and many, many other countries. So we are looking forward that once this vaccination drive will start soon in India, the pandemic which has caused so much harm in last year, that is 2020, will subsidized, and we can lead a proper way in the coming 2021. And to discuss about 2021, the way forward, we have a very elite, experienced uh, persons with us, the panelist. I would like to invite my first guest, and he is Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand is a senior psychiatrist and marriage counselor. Dr. Rajiv Anand passed his MBBS in 1976 and did MD in psychiatry in 1980 from King's George Medical College, Lucknow. He opted to serve his country when it was very common to settle abroad for a brighter future. He has been serving society with his base in Mumbai. He has clients all over India as well as in many other countries. He was honored with Lifetime Achievement Award by AMA. He has conducted more than 3,000 workshops for different groups and companies with audience size of 10 to 800. His television program on various channels have been widely appreciated for his forthright and practical approach. He is leading in the field of mental and emotional well-being for 40 years. He was president of IMA for 2 times. He was interviewed in several talk shows domestically as well as internationally. Welcome, Dr. Rajiv Anand, on our show. Dr. Anand, now we are in 2021, 1 year after we had our discussion that was on 30th of December 2020. Now, we would like to know from you your views, 2021, the way forward. Dr. Rajiv Anand, please.
Thank you, Mr. Lal, for the kind words. I hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes, please.
And welcome to my fellow panelists, Mr. Nitin Anand from USA. Incidentally, both of us share the same surname, lucky surname Anand. That's incidental. And Miss Garima Arora, and another lady who is yet to join, Miss Poonam Pathak.
No, she has joined.
She joined. Welcome to the viewers across Kerala and Karnataka and UP and Bihar and other parts of the world through Global TV and through other TV channels. Viewers who have been loyally stuck to Mr. Lal's program over the last 10 months or so. And I can't fail in my duty to give credit to Mr. Lal Goel, who has been untiringly and passionately, every day he spent 10, 12 hours in creation and execution and planning of this program, which how many of us can put in so many hours of efforts. And hats off to you, Mr. Lal. Great job you're doing it. And I'm sure that many people in different parts must be getting benefited by this talk. Now, having said so about 2021, a way forward. सबसे पहली बात कुछ हिंदी में कुछ इंग्लिश में, ताकि हिंदी वाले व्यूअर जो हमारे हैं वो भी सुन सकेंगे, समझ सकेंगे। किसी भी बीमारी को अगर हमें ठीक करना है तो डॉक्टर का रोल है, मेडिसिन का रोल है, लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा रोल हमारा अपना है कि हम उस बीमारी की बात करना कम से कम करें। हम उस बीमारी की बात करना कम से कम करें, बात कम से कम करेंगे तो हम सोचेंगे कम से कम, हम सोचेंगे कम से कम तो हम बोलेंगे कम से कम। और जब हम कम बात करेंगे, जब हम कम सोचेंगे तो हम दूसरों को भी वो बात करने के लिए उत्साहित नहीं करेंगे, दूसरों को भी उस टॉपिक पर सोचने के लिए उत्साहित नहीं करेंगे। एक जो चीज हम सबको सोचनी है, इसलिए मैं इस बात को हिंदी में बोल रहा हूँ कि सभी लोग इस बात को दिल से सुने, दिमाग से नहीं, कि जो वक्त गुजर गया है, गुजर गया है, पास्ट है। हकीकत है कि वो वक्त गुजर गया है, और ये भी सबको पता है कि वो वक्त कैसा था, कैसा नहीं था, कितना था, क्या था, किस किस को क्या तकलीफ हुई, ये भी सबको पता है। क्योंकि पहली बार हम सब लोगों के इतिहास में, हम सब लोगों की मेमोरी में पहली बार पूरी दुनिया एक साथ एक तकलीफ से गुजरी। कभी किसी को टाइफाइड होता है, कभी किसी को फ्लू होता है, कभी किसी को खांसी होती है, तो घर के 6, 7, 8 लोग हैं तो किसी एक को होती है, सबको नहीं होती। बिल्डिंग में अगर 40, 50 फ्लैट है तो किसी एक फ्लैट को होती है, सबको नहीं होती। पूरे शहर को उसका असर नहीं होता, पूरे देश को नहीं होता, पूरे विश्व को नहीं होता। लेकिन पहली बार पूरी दुनिया, पूरी पॉपुलेशन एक साथ रुक गई, थम गई। तो कुछ तो पीछे हिडन मैसेज होगा, कुछ तो हिडन एजेंडा होगा, कुछ तो सीखने को होगा। हमें वो सीख कर आगे बढ़ना है। मैं इस बात को कहने की जरूरत इसलिए समझ रहा हूँ क्योंकि हम में से अभी भी काफी लोग सोसाइटी में डर से ग्रसित हैं, डर की बातें करते हैं। वैक्सीन से इम्पोर्टेंसी हो जाएगी, वैक्सीन से ऐसा हो जाएगा, वैक्सीन फलानी पार्टी की है, हम वैक्सीन नहीं लगवाएंगे, वैक्सीन के साइड इफेक्ट हो सकते हैं, पहले साइड इफेक्ट बताइए। तो समय तो चला गया 2020, मगर हमारे मन से अगर डर नहीं गया तो हमें सोचना पड़ेगा कि हम जीवित हैं या शायद नहीं। क्योंकि जीवित होने का मतलब, जिंदा होने का मतलब आगे बढ़ना है। इससे हर इंसान अपने आप को चुटकी काट के पूछे अपने आप से, एम आई अलाइव? एंड इफ आई एम अलाइव and if I am not dead, let me not talk about that. If I'm alive, if I have a life flowing through me, then why I am talking about the death? Why I'm talking about the things which are dead? That is 2020. All of us, each one of us have hundreds of experiences which were totally avoidable, or which were not pleasant, which were really hardship. Why are we still talking about it? We have to move on. That's where I compliment Mr. Lal Goel for selecting this topic about Way Ahead 2021, in the very first week of this year. Basically, as Ms. Garma, who is also a trainer, would agree, and Mr. Nitin, who has been dealing with artificial intelligence and various other aspects of modern technology. Intelligence means going ahead. Intelligence means making the best of what is there now. Intelligence simply means making the best of. I hope Ms. Poonam Patak also has joined. I've yet to see her on the screen. And intelligence means, she's a counselor, means making the best of what is there now and moving ahead. So this is a small reminder. This is small nudge to lakhs of people who are connected to this program, courtesy Mr. Lal. Are you moving ahead, or you are stagnant in the past? And in case you are stagnant in the past or stagnant anywhere, and you're not moving ahead, then you're allowing people to question mark you. Are you alive? Are you really vibrant? Are you really breathing? Maybe your body might be breathing oxygen, but your mind is not. Your mind is still stale. Mind is still full of stale thoughts, stale miseries. Whatever you have undergone, it might matter a hell of a lot to you, but may not matter to other people if you keep on continuing talking about it. Because the biggest harm you are doing it talking about your disease which you went through the last 1 year, and you do not happen to be the only one who underwent this year. Everyone has gone through more or less the same. So why to talk, why to exaggerate, why to spread the scare? I often talk about this matter to my near and dear ones. Please do not talk about anything which spreads scare. Please do not talk about anything which is negative. Please do not talk about corona. Please do not talk about lockdown, because more you talk about it, more you are activating those thoughts in other people's susceptible mind. In general, people talk about what they hear or what they read. In general, almost 95% people talk what they see, what they hear. Maybe very few talk about what is their original thoughts. When we people meet, what we talk about the news, what we see on the TV, what we read in the newspaper this morning. So why we are spreading suspicious, unproven, or doubtful, or uncomfortable, or negative, or unpleasant things around? That is first thing we have to move forward from that avatar which we have been behaving the way so far. Talking negative, convert it into talking positive. This is the first time in the history of the mankind when the whole world has looked forward to a new year jointly with much greater optimism than it ever was in the eve of any lasting year. This is the first time that the whole civilization has waited for the new year to emerge with new good news, be it about vaccine or be it about the reducing number of fatalities. This is the first time the whole world is united in a spirit to create a new world. And when I say a new world, I really mean it by this, because many things we were carrying old under the belief that people think that we should do that. People think we should be well dressed every day with a tie. Who bothered in the last 10 months? People want me to be absolutely immaculately dressed. Who cared for that? People expect me to visit restaurant. Who cared for that? People expect me to go to malls and buy branded clothes. How does it matter now? So many of the things which we're carrying the notion about based on people's need, people's perception, people's expectations, or some people call it peer pressure. Young people call it peer pressure. At least we who are little more in age and experience, we realize in reality, there is no peer pressure. We are capable of creating our own reality, and we have been given this jolt to realize the reality is that we have to do our best, give our best, enjoy our best, and that's all about it, whatever people may think about it. If I'm comfortable wearing this t-shirt today, not a shirt or a tie, which I have been accustomed when I'm in a professional role as a doctor, it's okay. I'm comfortable as long as I'm not offending anyone's sensibility. The last few years has given us a trust, has projected us into a better lifestyle where we don't have to depend on people's perception, their opinion, their views, their expectations. This is the way forward. Do your best, live your best, enjoy your best. Less bothered about comparison, less bothered about people's expectation. Further part of way ahead, in my view, is we always thought the life is in the big cities. We always thought we would get a good job in the big cities, all metropolitan cities. And metropolitan cities were breaking apart because of pressure on infrastructure, because of massive population influx from different parts of the country to all major cities and all major metropolis. And now we all are realizing it. We can work sitting any part of the world. We have Wi-Fi structure, we have broadband, we can sit even in our native city and we can work. And this is a great way forward. We can sit in any two-tier, three-tier city, and as and when we feel like we can visit the nearest metropolitan city and any cosmopolitan city, and we can visit to the malls or to the theater. Fortunately, all these things which were unavailable so far in lesser cities are now spreading all over. So this is a way forward. We don't have to depend on a major city's infrastructure and suffer frequent collapses in the infrastructure and pay a heavier price. If I may say arbitrarily, everybody who earns 100 rupees spend almost 80 rupees in living in the big cities, breathing the air of the big city, be it New York, be it Dallas, be it Bombay, be it London, be it every country is not that prosperous. So if out of every 100 rupees, 80 rupees go just in living in that city, and then you have various other expenditure. The way forward is we need to review it. We need to review it. How much is the compulsion? How much is the necessity? How much is the unavoidability of living in a big city? We are equally functional. We have learned this lesson, which is going to be used in the coming years. We are functional in a very secure, very noise-free, very comfortable atmosphere wherever we are. Not one or not you or not 3 or 4 persons sitting over here. Crores of people realize that they are doing well, even from home or wherever they are, or even from their native places, which is a very big thrust forward, which is also going to help many industries, which is also going to help many administrative people, that why so much of emphasis on the property or the big city management? Why so much of need of high-end flats, which cost in crores? Today, if you take a flat in 2 crores, then you have to pay 2 lakh worth of EMI for next 15, 20 years. How many people earn that kind of salary to continue paying 2 lakh worth of EMI for next 10, 12, 15 years? And if you are going to pay that much of interest, what else you would do in the life? Just because you have to live in the big city. So let there be a way forward, review, revision at the level where it concerns individual level, company level, as well as government level. That they should be spreading out of popularization. Even if I would say, I know that what I'm talking about is a Herculean task. It doesn't happen overnight, but the planning should begin about it. A way forward is let the population shift out from the center of the town, be it as it is already happened in some major cities, be it New York, from main Manhattan to the New Jersey or Long Island. Same way in Bombay, from in center of the Bombay to suburbs and far off suburb. Same way in Delhi, from New Delhi to Ghaziabad or Noida or Greater Noida or even up to Meerut or Gurgaon, so on and so forth. Similarly, let the population shift out so that let people have less pressure on the infrastructure, let people have more fresh air, let people have more space for the traffic movement, let people have more amenities, let people live more comfortably and healthily. I would just end my talk with the last two points. A way forward is leaving behind old habits of eating. We all thought that this is what we need. We all thought this is what we need. Without that, we can't. Be it about eating, be it about wearing clothes, be it about wearing anything, be it about any kind of social needs. And we were forced to make to realize in last 10 months, and that's the greatest lesson. We don't need much. We don't need many clothes. We don't need much money. We don't need much accessories. We can work with the minimum. So way forward is working with the minimum. Another way forward is saving enough for the rainy day. We never bothered about saving enough for the rainy day. Another part of way forward is we have to take care of our health. Nobody else in the world would take care of it. Government may expedite, may bring the vaccine out quite fast. Commendable. Hats off to government. But is that the end of the story? Should we stop washing hands? Should we stop taking care of hygiene? Should we stop avoiding social distancing? Should we touch any object anywhere? Should we allow infection to come to us and leave it to the government to take by vaccine? No. Each of us, and to begin with me, a way forward is we have to be more health conscious. We have to take care of ourselves primarily. We don't have to depend on my husband or my wife or my children that they would take care of me or the government would take care of me. No, we have to take care. And this is indeed not very difficult. So way forward is take care of yourself first and then begin taking care of everyone else around. So I would end my this initial first round of submission over here. Over to you, Mr. Lal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. And as Dr. Rajiv Anand says, 2020 has gone, so please forget whatsoever has happened in 2020. Because if you will start thinking, the pressure will come mentally, and then the lots of problems will come. And he says, way forward is that we must think for the future. Whatsoever lessons we have learned in 2020, we must take that advantage of those lessons, like we are now, we don't require any branded clothes, we don't require to go to expensive restaurants or to eat out, and we can very well go ahead with a economical lifestyle. And he also mentioned that now the vaccine is there, which is going to be launched in India soon, one must go and take the vaccine without giving heeds to the rumors which have been spread that the vaccine is going to have side effects and whatnot, or make you impotent, etc. So all these things, he says, the way forward is look forward, think of the future, forget whatsoever has happened. It has already happened with everybody. Cooperate with the government directions, keep your social distancing, wear mask, hand sanitation, etc., etc., and be normal. If you will be normal, then you can think forward. And he has also suggested that all the metro cities can be decongested, but because the people can go and work from their native places instead of sitting in a very expensive city by purchasing flats, etc. So his idea is that way forward, we must change, rethink our lifestyle, change the lifestyle, change the mindset, and come forward. Then only we can survive very nicely. We can look forward in a very, very nice way. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand, for giving the way forward 2021 in a very positive way. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Miss Poonam Pathak. Miss Poonam Pathak is a motivational speaker based in Mumbai. She is a qualified counselor with proven experience of 25 years in motivational speaking. She is having a special interest in cognitive behavioral therapy and person centered counseling. Her areas of expertise include uh, bereavement, addiction, bullying, women empowerment. She is a personality development trainer with years of experience in corporate world. She is also fitness consultant with extensive experience of 20 years from Reebok. Welcome, Ms. Poonam Pathak, on our show. Ms. Pathak, you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand has mentioned. He says, forget whatsoever happened in the last year, look forward, think positive, and go. The way forward is that you forget whatsoever has happened, lessons whatsoever you learned last year or the earlier years, you must now go forward with a very, very positive note. Now, we would like to know from you your views about the 2021, the way forward. Miss Poonam Phatak, please.
Hello.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. A very warm good morning to all the esteemed speakers for today and definitely our viewers also. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Lal Goel, Chairman, Organ Donation India Foundation and GYAN, and Dr. Rajiv Anand for giving me the opportunity for recommending my name for this particular webinar. I would like to start, as we all know that the topic for today is how to move ahead. आगे कैसे जाएं? आगे कैसे जाएं? अगर आप ये सुन रहे हो, if you are listening, if you are hearing, if you are there to think about, then you've already managed to come to 2021. You have already lived 2020. So you definitely have developed certain strategies, certain ways how you dealt with 2020. So I think it's time to sit back and analyze and think, what was it that I did? What was the action? What was the thought? What I thought in 2020? How did I survive 2020? You have already managed. So I think you just have to think about all that you did. You must have thought positive, you must have taken certain steps, you must have taken certain actions, you must have definitely done something that you survived, and you are here in 2021. So instead of getting worried, instead of getting paranoid about what to do, instead of getting confused. See, actually, when it started in 2021, December 2019 December, it started. So that was the time people were, it started very far away from India. So people were little complacent. People were like, oh, it's not going to travel to India, so we are safe. Come January, February 2020, it was there in India. Now people started becoming confused. What is it? Nobody knew what it was. Till date, I think we are not very clear about what is COVID 19, how to deal with it. There are no medicines as such. So it's all confusion till date. Then people became little careless in India. I am talking about what happened in India because I know about India. So people became little careless. People were confused. People were complacent. And come March, when people actually saw things happening here in India, then people started becoming, there was this emotion which was very, very prevalent, and that was fear. Now, when fear came in, everything started, it was like confusion, I think, just became, I don't know, it went just haywire. People didn't know what to do. Some people thought, oh, there is no corona kuch nahi hai. Ye to, strategies hai government ki, and medical fraternity, they are just trying to boom them. They are trying to make money. वो पैसा बना रहे हैं. That's how people think. So धीरे 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 एक डर बैठा लोगों के मन में कि अब हम इसमें, अब जिसके घर में हो गया, जिनको हो गया, lot of people have lost their dear and near ones. Lot of people have been through this, and lot of people who've got this corona have realized that this is not just a myth. This is actually there. Then they've dealt with it. Lot of people, like if I know somebody who's got corona, and I ask them a lot of questions, and they tell me how to deal with it. So then I learn. Lot of people have learned by just listening. Lot of people have learned by dealing with it. Lot of people have got it. So this is how now we've got a lot of financial problems coming with it. With lockdown, lot businesses were closed, people lost their jobs, even students suffered because schools were closed. Students who were in 10th and 12th definitely suffered because they had their board exams. So everybody was dealing with their emotions, in short. So I think, first of all, what according to me is, we need to deal with our emotions first, then to, they say everything starts with a thought. So if your thoughts are in right place, if your emotions are in right place, I think you can deal with anything in a better way, in a better manner. So according to me, we have to deal with fear, we have to deal with anxiety, we have to deal with uh, depression. There are a lot of people going through depression because they were staying alone in the house. Not everybody was privileged to have family with them. There were a lot of people staying alone and locked in the house, no work, no job, no money, or you can say less money, and surviving. So people have emotional issues more than any other issues today. So I think we need to be more compassionate towards people. We need to be more helpful. There are a lot of people who need help in every field. So I think everybody should just go out and try and help whoever in whatever manner they can. You cannot say, because I am fine, why, if I can do it, why cannot she do it, why can't he do it? It's not that. No two people are same, no two circumstances are same. So I think, like they say, one man's fantasy is another man's reality. So if I am feeling in a certain way, that doesn't mean the other person can do it. No, he is weak. So I think we need to accept our weaknesses, we need to accept our strengths, we need to increase our strengths and try to reduce the weaknesses we have. We need help. The very first thing what we need is to accept this is what I can do and this is what I cannot do. This is where I need help and this is where I don't need help. Now once your thoughts are in line, once your prospect, you know what you want and how to get it. You accept your failures, you accept your weaknesses. I think people generally try and show only the best part, They only try and show the strengths they have, or maybe they don't have it but they show it because they don't want कि लोग बोलेंगे ओ ये तो बहुत कमजोर है, ओ इस ये तो इससे ये नहीं हुआ, उसका वो हो गया. People think and people do talk. I think we should become more, like I said, compassionate towards others and try and help them survive. I mean, they've already survived 2020 because they are already in 2021. So we need to help them move ahead. Like we say, the topic is moving ahead. So we need to help them move ahead and move ahead emotionally, physically, financially, and other aspects of life. Like Dr. Anand said, living in a big city is definitely a challenge today, of all the times. And but it's again like, it's very difficult to shift now in this era, in these times. So I think we need to uh, go out. Like, I'm a counselor, so I would, I would think more about emotional well-being of people, because like I said, everything starts with a thought, and if your thoughts are in right place, I guess you obviously try and move towards that. And once you are emotionally strong, once you have those strengths, you can definitely take more steps towards working towards your business, because you're sane, your mind is in right place. You can actually help yourself and help others as well. So I think managing, if you've managed 2020, you will definitely be able to manage 2021 in a better way. Please sit back and think. You need to analyze your own strategies. You need to think about how did you manage. Now once you know how did you manage, maybe knowingly or unknowingly. So if you've done it knowingly, you already know it. If you've done it unknowingly, please sit and think, and bring those, get those strategies here in 2021, and try and cultivate and try and move on with those, because you've done it in 2020, you can definitely do it in any other years in your life, coming years. सो आई थिंक इंसान जिसने सर्वाइव किया है वो कर सकता है. उसको अपने अंदर ये विश्वास जगाना है, उसको अपने अंदर ये मानना है अपने आप को कि भाई मैं ये कर चुका हूं, मैं ये कर सकता हूं, मुझे अपना देखना है मैंने क्या किया था. अब अगर हम बैठ के अपने लॉसेस को रोते रहेंगे, अगर हम अपने जो चला गया है उसको लेकर अगर हम ये सोचते रहेंगे कि ओ माय गॉड, यू स्टार्ट सल्किंग, यू स्टार्ट यू गेट इनटू दैट सिंपैथी, सेल्फ पिटी मोड. आप इस तरह से ऊपर नहीं उठ सकते हैं. आपको ये एनालाइज करके रियलाइज करना है कि मुझे अब आगे बढ़ने के लिए क्या करना है. जो हो गया ठीक है, वो अच्छा नहीं हुआ या अच्छा हुआ, जो भी हुआ, तो अब मुझे आगे बढ़ने के लिए क्या करना है. हमको इमोशनली स्ट्रांग होना है, हमको फाइनेंशियली स्ट्रांग होना है. किस तरह से होना है. आपने 1 2 3 4 5 6 चेकलिस्ट बना लेनी है. आपने अपने आप को समझाना है कि ओके, दिस इज द स्टेप आई नीड टू टेक, this is the step. But you will be able to take those steps only if you are mentally sane, only if your emotions are in right place. Like I will always say, I harp on emotions, 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 because you are nothing without emotions. Human being is nothing without emotions. You are, आप सैड होते हो वो भी एक इमोशन है, आप डरते हो वो भी एक इमोशन है, आप आगे बढ़ते हो वो भी एक स्ट्रेंथ के साथ बढ़ते हो, वो भी एक इमोशन है. आपके अंदर हर चीज आपके माइंड से शुरू होती है. आपने अपने माइंड को स्ट्रांग करना है. आपने अपनी लाइफ को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए अपने आप को पुश करना है. आप बिना पुश के आगे नहीं जा सकते हो, जो मेरा मानना है. आपने फाइनेंशियली आगे बढ़ना है. आपको पता है कि ये मेरा बिजनेस है, या दिस इज द जॉब आई कैन डू, आई नीड टू गो फॉर इट, आई नीड टू गो फॉर इट, लाइक विथ फुल फोर्स, यू से, एक पूरी पूरी शिद्दत के साथ आपने वो काम करना है. अगर पुरानी बातों को भूल जाना है, लाइक डॉक्टर आनंद से, पुरानी बातों को भूल जाना है. अगर हम पास्ट में जिएंगे, हम आगे कभी भी नहीं बढ़ सकते हैं. इट्स इजियर सेड देन डन, दे से. बोलना बहुत आसान होता है, करना मुश्किल होता है. बट अब हम क्या करें, हमें करना पड़ेगा. अब हम फंडों में नहीं जा सकते हैं. अब हमने एक्शन करना है अगर हमने सर्वाइव करना है, अगर हमने आगे बढ़ना है. तो तो हम अपने आप को बेचारा बना के बैठ जाएंगे और अपनी लॉसेस पे बैठे रहेंगे, तो हम कभी भी आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते हैं। हमने अपने माइंड को ओपन करना है, हमने पॉजिटिव चीजों को देखना है, हमने अच्छी अचीवमेंट्स के बारे में सोचना है, हमने अपने गोल्स बनाने हैं, and we have to try and reach those goals. We have to make strategies. How do we reach those goals? Now we cannot sit back. This is not the time to sit back and be complacent or be careless. We have to work on our physical well-being, we have to work on our mental well-being, we have to work on our financial well-beings. We need new strategies, we need, and everybody has their own, everybody has, हर इंसान को पता है उसको क्या चाहिए और मैं कैसे कर सकता हूँ, उसको अपने स्ट्रेंथ्स पता है, उसको अपने वीकनेसेस पता है. So I guess everybody, please, it's a request to everybody who's listening to me today and listening to this webinar. Please अपने आप को, अपने losses को काउंट करना बंद कर दीजिए और अपनी स्ट्रेंथ्स पे फोकस करिए, अपने गोल्स पे फोकस करिए और पूरी हिम्मत और पूरी शिद्दत के साथ आगे बढ़िए. और मैं बाकी लोगों से ये रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूंगी कि अपने डियर एंड नियर वंस को, अपने फ्रेंड्स को, सोसाइटी में अगर आप किसी को भी किसी तरह की हेल्प कर सकते हैं, प्लीज आगे बढ़िए, उनकी हेल्प कीजिए, बिकॉज दीज आर द टर्बुलेंट ट्राइंग टाइम्स वी नीड टू ओवरकम. We need to overcome these times, and alone you cannot do it. Nobody can do alone. बोलते हैं ना, अकेले आप मंजिल नहीं पा सकते हैं, आप अगर साथ में लोगों को लेके चलेंगे तो आपको बहुत अच्छी और जल्दी मंजिल मिलती है. सो प्लीज, इट्स अ रिक्वेस्ट, एवरीबडी प्लीज हेल्प ईच अदर and try and take, you can even go out and take help from professionals if you are not mentally strong. There is nothing wrong in it. You please accept it, go out, go with full force, help yourself, help others. Thank you so much for this this
Thank you.
opportunity. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much, Miss Poonam, for giving your views. And what Miss Poonam said, whatsoever has happened, happened. Forget about that. You think yourself that you are very lucky if you have survived 2020. So now you are going to survive, because 2021 is not that difficult. What difficulties everybody has faced in 2020. And if that is why she said that emotions, because if you are emotionally strong, that's why you survived 2020, physically, emotionally strong. Now you must understand your own strength, try to evaluate your strength, see what were the weaknesses, learn from their weaknesses, but concentrate on your strength and come with a full zeal in this 2020. Move forward, don't think about the past. Whatsoever has happened, happened. But she also said that if you have to be successful, you have to work hard. You cannot sit idle all the way you were enjoying pre-COVID era. And she also appealed to the civil society, please come forward, help others, those who have lost something, try to do the help, give the help, because this is the most turbulent time and we must come forward and help each other. And that's the way we can move forward. And she also said that in case if you are feeling weakness, if you are not happy, you have some mental problems or physical problems, please go and consult the doctors or the specialist and take their help. Don't be afraid, don't be feeling that why should I go, because this is the right time when you must become very strong if you have to move forward. Thank you very much, Ms. Poonam, for giving your views, very positive views. I'm sure our viewers will definitely take note of your views and try
Thank
to
you.
implement that. Thank you very much. Now I would like to
Thank you.
invite my next guest, and he is Mr. Nitin Anand, BMS. He is a technology professional leading product management at a leading Fortune 10 US healthcare company at Irving, USA. Mr. Nitin has extensive experience in the field of IT technology and business consulting with diverse skill sets and proven track record in executing complex projects and building various types of technology products. Mr. Nitin holds a Bachelor of Engineering and MS degree in uh, telecommunications and business. Originally from Mumbai, Mr. Nitin is an Indian American settled in US for last 20 years. Mr. Nitin works with various Indian organizations in the US as a volunteer. Welcome, Mr. Nitin. Good evening to you because it's quite late in the USA, in the part where you are in Texas. Uh, Mr. Nitin, you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand as well as what Ms. Poonam has spoken before you. And both were of the view that we must forget whatsoever has happened in 2020. We must come with a new views, new directions, and with new emotions. And we must think very, very positively. Now, we would like to know 2021, the way forward. Mr. Nitin Anand, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Perfect. Perfect. So, again, once again, really appreciate being on this panel. It is my pleasure and an honor actually to be here in the panel with Dr. Anand, Poonamji, Garima, and Mr. Goel. I've seen quite a few of your videos previously. I've also seen Dr. Anand's videos, and they're always inspiring. So, thank you very much for inviting me and appreciate all the work that you are doing here through this organization. And Dr. Anand and Garima, you have been doing through your counseling work as well. So, you know, before I begin, I really appreciate the words that Dr. Anand Poonamji have spoken about how we are looking, how we're going to look forward to a new future in 2021. So let me start by, wishing our audience, wishing you all at the panel a very happy, healthy, prosperous year ahead. And we all hope that this pandemic gets over soon and we're able to go back to our previous lives. So as I was thinking about this topic, I was invited here to speak, and I was pondering around these questions. Is there a way forward out of all of this? This has definitely affected the entire world. As Dr. Anand mentioned, it's not just you or your family, it's the entire world that has been affected at the same time. And are we as a family, are we as a society, are we as a country, are we going to be able to get better? Are we going to be able to stand back on our feet, uh, just like how we were prior to the pandemic that began in March of 2020? And as I was thinking more about this very question, I felt that the answer to all of this is a very big yes. And not only a big yes, but for me, it was for the better. The world is going to be a better place than what it was prior to March 2020. Now, you can accuse me of being optimistic at this point, and I'll try to explain to you some of the things that I have been thinking about to speak here. Of course, we know that our world has, over the last year, turned upside down. It has really shown us a picture of the world that none of us, not the previous generation, not our current generation, could ever imagine or think of. Only in the movies that you would see such a pandemic. But now we are all inside that, experiencing it and dealing with it. So, you know, um, but looking at this, have we really changed so much, right? Wasn't the world already changing? To me, that was a very important point, that we were already in the midst of a massive change that was occurring in all aspects of our life. Being from the technology world, I felt that technology has played an innovation, not only technology but also innovation has played a big part in us changing our world. Talk about the world 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. The world has been changing drastically. Now, this COVID pandemic has accelerated a lot of these changes, and some of it good changes, some of it are bad changes. But information technology and robotics and automation, the latest, machine languages, machine learning and artificial intelligence, all of these have really made computers become our managers and supervisors. They made machine our workers in a way. And this automation obviously is present everywhere. But let me talk about what's really happening today. A good example is all the the protest and the agriculture industry or agriculture challenges that India is facing at this point. I'll take the example of US agriculture and food industry is far more mechanized than any other place in the world. And you will see that machines are pretty much running the farms and processing assembly lines, and you will not see humans there. You'll see very less humans doing the job. So in the US, farming has already become extensively automated with a single machine able to do in a day what tens of farmers will take many, many days. So that change within an industry has already happened. Now, the farmer agitation in India, to me looked like a glimpse of what is happening in when an industry is transforming. And again, I'm not an expert in this matter, but any industry that has transformed has gone through this pain. Modernization of any industry, whether it's agriculture, whether it's telecom, whether it's retail, is a big challenge. And there are some status quos that you have to really break and move forward. So things are changing, and they will continue to change. As a human, all of this technology that is being implemented, it is being implemented to truly create us as a consumer rather than a producer. Now, mark my words, a consumer uh, is someone who consumes, and a producer is someone who produces. But we are now transforming a lot of countries moving towards being developed countries into consumers. We are improving our lives in India and other parts of the world. US is a developed country, so we don't want to toil for hours in the sun and the heat and grow crops or harvest. So farmers are now going through that transition through automation just to make their life comfortable and make their family life comfortable. In the US, I actually work with a lot of folks in my office and other friends that I have who are from India, who are from states such as Andhra Pradesh and Haryana, whose families in India are directly connected to farming and agriculture. But today they are not farmers. They are not gone back to their previous generation work and working in a field. They're actually here in companies producing computers and code that actually run this automation and machines and all of these things. So why I'm talking about all of this is to just give you a glimpse that you know whether it was COVID or without COVID, transition and pain and challenges have been in front of us for many, many years and decades now. So what has happened here now? Like I said, previous generation were in a particular set of profession. We are now jumping and moving into a newer set, newer industry, and we have to accept that as a society. We have to accept that there has always been fear of automation and technology, but COVID and this pandemic has given us a lot of challenges that we have been able to overcome. As some of the panelists earlier talked about, that we are already here now in 2021. We've completed all the challenges and pain that has occurred over the past year, and we've come out of it successfully. Uh, Being from the technology world, I wanted to present more points that are related to technology. So you will continue to see, moving forward, automation. You'll continue to see a lot of jobs being disrupted, and we have to take that into account. The U.S. Unemployment rate is actually reduced right now. It was almost 14% in April of 2020. It was about 4% in 2019. So you can imagine that in a developed nation like US, you still have unemployment, and that's because US is basically a consumer society, but it is also far ahead in terms of innovation when it comes to any field, whether it's technology, whether it's retail, whether it's even vaccines. You see, most of the vaccines are getting approved by US-based companies. So what we are seeing overall is that there is going to be disruption. There is going to be digitization of business. There's going to be optimization. There is going to be efficiencies that are going to be put in place. But that's going to result at the end of the day in job cuts, in changes in the labor market. And we will have to accommodate to that. But there will be newer jobs that will be created. And senior citizens, for example, have started using shopping apps to deliver products and medications at their home, something which is very natural for a millennial. But this is a change. You've got an entire new segment of folks that are using technology, that are using apps. So technology world is progressing. There are certain segments that are still lagging because of the pandemic. uh, Now the other thing is uh, the technology changes are going to be there. So because of the changes that are happening there, you will need to have the government go into a mode where they're providing a lot more social programs and help. A classic example is universal basic income. So this is a new concept. Some of the countries in Europe are already trying to pilot this. US has its own social security administration that provides support to the unemployed folks. And we, like, the panelists earlier said that, but we'll have to go a step further than just having social programs in place. Family unit that was very much prevalent in India, it is kind of changed a little bit over the past couple of decades, but that family unit is going to be so important and so key in the next decade to support this transition that is happening, not just because of COVID, but also prior to COVID. And that support is both emotional support and financial support. You will see the family unit may not have all the members earning at the same level to have their own individual life. That nuclear family that we talk about, that is not going to happen in the next decade. In a recent survey by Zillow, which is a US based real estate company, about 22% of American millennials are now going back to stay with their parents. Now, that's a huge number for US because that's never in history. I think almost, after, prior around the World War II time, that was the case. But in the last many decades, that could not have been even thought. So that family structure is changing. And, in the US, it's a primary factor is the financial factor. Financial needs are responsible for that change. In India, of course, we have always had that. Obviously, last few decades we've seen a dilution, but in India it's more than the financial. We are actually a lot more tighter in terms of our family connections. So overall, I feel that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I would not think that COVID has definitely disrupted many different areas, but look at it as a positive way. We can make a positive change in this world. All the things that I've talked about, they were already challenges that we were going through. It was not obvious, but being in the technology world, we also think about these different aspects of what is going to happen when certain technology is going to disrupt the industry. And that's what technology has been doing, disrupting various industries, whether it's finance, whether it's communications, retail, even medical field. You see all the vaccine that has been developed with the speed that it has been developed at, could not have been possible without simulations, without modeling, without a lot of testing that is being done with the use of instruments and technology. So going forward, I would say that I have a very positive outlook, but I do feel that we all, as a family, as a country, as a society, as a culture, we have to rethink our priorities. What is good for the society, what is good for our family, and what is good for our country. All of this in combination will definitely be good for Mother Earth. I think that holistic view has to be there. And we have to also not just think about the positive. In my opinion, we also have to strive and fight against removing social and cultural inefficiencies. I don't want to use the word evil, but it's a very strong word. But inefficiencies it should also be a focus where you see inefficiencies, you see corruption, and you kind of highlight that and try to remove that using various processes or using technology, as we recently saw with the income tax filing in India. So that was a good move. Now all of these basic things that we get, our basics are not given. Comfort is not given. Life is also not given, as we have seen over the last year. The benefits and the luxuries are certainly not given to everyone. So we have to work hard, to really strive and to sustain this, to nurture it. That is what I feel is important. And if we are able to do that, and if we are able to create that change and adapt to this change, then we will be perfectly fine, as we have over the last 100 years. So with that, I will pass it on to Mr. Goel, and
Okay,
then
thank you very much, Mr. Nitin Anand. And Mr. Nitin Anand says I am very positive. He's very positive, and he sees the light in the end of the tunnel. But he has made many points, and his main emphasis about the technology. He says whenever the new technology comes, there is always a disruption. And he was quoting about the farmers. He has not quoted directly, but indirectly he was hinting about the farmers' agitations going on in India because of the technology which is going to take place. And he has given many of the examples, although that we will take up in the next round about the farmers' agitation, what she had mentioned. But what he says is, because of the technology, lots of new developments have come. Even the vaccine, which has come because of the stimulation, and so fast the vaccines can be created and manufactured because of the advancement of the technology. Otherwise, it's not possible. And in fact, also earlier, that generally the vaccine used to take 5 to 7 years for the earlier pandemics, but this time it was done within 9 months or so. So he is very positive. He says we must take advantage of the technology. We must be positive. If we will take the advantage of the technology, if we will use the technology, definitely we can go ahead, whether it's for the senior citizens, for everybody using the marketing apps, etc. So he is very positive. He says that there is a light in the end of the tunnel, and he feels that everything can be, we have to think that whatsoever has happened, happened. Now 2021 is a very positive year. We must think of that, and we can, with the help of technology, we can very well go way forward. Thank you very much, Mr. Nitin Anand, for giving your technology-based views about the way forward. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, and she's Miss Garima Arora Kannan. Miss Garima Arora Kannan is the founder of Life Leadership Movement, Design Your Dream Life. She is a coach, corporate trainer, and speaker. Her mission is 50-20-50. That is, her aim is to inspire 50 million people by the year end 2050 to design their dream life and create career security for themselves. Though her initiative, Life Leadership Movement, she inspires people to take charge and be the leader of their life. She is having corporate experience of a decade in branding, visual merchandising, marketing, and training. She conducts workshops across various national and multinational institutions. Welcome, Ms. Garima Arora Kannan on our show. Ms. Garima Arora, you have already heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand, what Ms. Poonam, as well as what Mr. Nitin has mentioned before you. Dr. Rajiv Anand and Ms. Poonam was very positive about, and they says that we have to forget 2020. We must think positiveness for 2021. While Mr. Nitin, main emphasis was for the technology. And he says, because the technology is so advanced, so we must keep faith in technology, and we must move way forward is that we try to utilize the maximum benefit of the technology, and then the way forward and be positive. Now, we would like to know from you the 2021, the way forward. Ms. Garima Arora Kannan, please. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Goel. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity. And I'm really glad to be here amongst esteemed panelists. Thank you, Dr. Rajiv Anand and Mr. Goel, for inviting. And good morning to fellow panelists, Mr. Nitin, Ms. Poonam, and all the viewers. So first of all, congratulations to all of you who have made to 2021, because this has been, I think, one of the longest year. 2020 has been one of the longest year, and we've all been waiting for this to get over. So congratulations and a very happy new year to all of you. So I would like to cover the way forward in 5 points, and I would like to start from where Mr. Nitin has left. He spoke about technology. So my first point is the speed of change. The world was already actually experiencing a lot of change even before the COVID. So in past 15, 20 years, we've seen the change that has happened is more than what has happened in the past 100 years. And the pandemic, when it hit, it just accelerated this change, and everything became even more fastened. So, the education became online, business models, overnight, they changed their models. We started shopping online, which we couldn't have thought of even, 2 years back, that everything we shop online, healthcare system, and every area, the corporates were changing to adapt to all these things. So what I would like to add here is that every area, there is change which is happening, and the speed of change is very, very, very fast. It is, accelerated by the pandemic, and everything we have to understand that we have to adapt this change. We have to be flexible, we have to be agile, and we have to understand that we have to speed up things. And I would like to share a data here which says that 40% of the world population is under the age of 25. And this population actually loves speed. And I must say, this is the kind of generation which goes in speed, and we all who are not so young, including myself, we must pull up our socks and match up to that speed, because speed is the future. So everyone has to understand that if we are not matching up the speed, we'll be left behind. If we really want to grow, we must be agile, we must be flexible, we must adapt to that speed. And as Mr. Nitin mentioned, the technology has, big time helped in COVID. I must say it has really helped also. And in future also, AI, robotics, machine learning, automation, everything will fasten this speed. So we just have to get ready to pick up to that speed. So that was point number one, the speed of change. The second point that I would like to mention is uncertainty. As we've already covered, Mr. Goel in the beginning said, uncertainty is the only certainty. So year 2020 and the pandemic has proved this so right, that, change is the only permanent and uncertainty is the only certainty. And pandemic actually showed us the mirror that when uncertainty hits, how unprepared we were, not just as individuals and families, but the country, the entire higher authorities, the government, the entire world, in fact, was unprepared to handle this kind of uncertainty. So here I'm not giving the negative aspect of uncertainty, but I'm just trying to tell that we must be prepared for the uncertainty that lies ahead. So there was a recent statement by WHO which says that COVID not necessarily the big one. Next pandemic could be even severe. So again, here I am not trying to give a negative connotation, but I'm just trying to tell that uncertainty is the part of life. So be it any area of our life, be it health, which was affected by COVID, be it our personal relationships, our finances, our career, jobs, everything actually got disrupted when the pandemic hit. So the uncertainty forms part of our life, and we need to understand that this highly uncertain environment will continue to be there in future as well. So this brings me to my point number 3, that when we have so much uncertainty, when the speed of change is immense, what do? So what we have to do is we have to get prepared. We have to prepare ourselves to face this uncertainty. We have to face these challenges which lie ahead in the future. So we have to prepare ourselves. So the way forward is to prepare yourself for the uncertain times which may arise and the speed of technology, the speed of change that is happening. And how do you prepare yourself? So I want to share that we need to have a new perspective of everything. So 3 words I would like to say is that reimagine, reinvent, and recreate yourself. Get a new perspective of things so that you are prepared for these uncertain times if they arise, so that you are prepared for the challenges, so that you are prepared for the speed of change and the technology that is happening. So the concept of designing your dream life plays a very important role, because when you are designing your life, what I mean by designing your life is creating your life plan and creating how that you will creating a life plan and focusing on how you will achieve all those plans. So designing your life becomes very, very important in such times, where you can focus on various areas of your life, be it emotional, mental, be it financial, be it your health, be it your career, and prepare for the uncertain future. So basically, designing your life gives you some control over these areas in times when the uncertainty hits, in times where there are challenges. Because suppose if you have not prepared, you have not designed the life, you will be caught and you will be unprepared, and life will take you to a random place you may not want to really go. So if you want to be in control, obviously 100% control is not possible, but even if you want slight control of your life, you need to design your life, you need to create that control. So another very important area where we need to create that preparation, where we need to do that preparation, is our career. Because job security is the thing of the past. We no more are in an era where we have one job and where we can sustain all our lives. And So here the career part becomes very important. So we need to understand that we have to create career security so that we can provide for our families and for ourselves, and we can live a life that we really want. So here overall preparation plays a very, very important role in all the areas of your life. Next point that I would like to mention is self education. So when we see that so much is happening, self education becomes very, very essential. So when I'm talking about self education here, I don't mean a formal education degree. What I really mean is that you start educating yourself in an informal way. When I say informal way, there are ways to educate yourself through exploration, through experimenting, through talking to your seniors or juniors or your colleagues, through online. So now knowledge is actually available at the click of a button. You can learn anything online. And this again is not a formal education. You can explore various things, you can experiment and learn about various areas of your life. So here I would like to give example that for example, then when we were young, say 20 years back, we just had a phone, a simple phone where we can use simple where we can use just few of the applications and we were done with it. But now you have to learn about every application. You have to do everything on your phone. So be it your utility bills, be it shopping, be it booking Ola cab, be it anything, operating Zoom calls. So we have to learn everything about, how to operate from phone. So this is part of learning. This is part of self education. So once we understand that self education is important, we will start educating ourselves. We will start upgrading ourselves. So in current times, as we were talking that there were mass layoffs, there were job losses, we need to constantly upgrade our skills so that just in case somebody loses job or there's unemployment, how will you shift your job or how will you shift your career with the help of new skills? So you have to constantly upgrade yourself in areas which will help you to move further. And it's not just for professionals or it's not just for entrepreneurs, even for housewives, even for students. So whoever you are, you need to constantly relearn and constantly unlearn and relearn the old methods and start learning the new methods so that you can bring up yourself to the current level. And so here one more example that I would like to give is that we've seen kids in our houses. They are so curious. All those who have kids in your house, they will constantly keep on asking questions. What is this? How does this work? But as we grow up, we've seen that that childhood curiosity vanishes totally. So we must be curious at all times. We must be, having that curiosity, childlike curiosity, that how do things work? How can I upgrade myself? How can I upgrade my mindset or my skill set? So that childhood curiosity is very important, and by learning new things, you can reignite that curiosity anytime. So that's very, very important that we continue to learn and continue to be curious so that we can manage these uncertain times and prepare ourselves. So two important skills that I would like to say are very, very essential are problem solving and creativity. Because if you do these two things, you may be able to cover various other areas which will help you to grow further. So this brings me to the final point, which Dr. Rajiv Anand started with, that we need to lead ourselves. So leading yourself and leading the change becomes very, very, very essential in current times. So even if there is uncertainty, even if there is a lot of change that is happening, and when you have to prepare yourself, you have to learn new things every day. You have to start leading yourself, because you cannot sit and tell others that you do this thing from me, and you cannot relax and tell government is responsible for my life, or my family is responsible for my life, or my company or my employer or my boss is responsible for things. You have to take charge and you have to start doing things for yourself. You have to start making an effort, put that time, energy and money in upgrading yourself and preparing, so that you can fight that uncertainty, so that uh, you can do whatever you want to fight that change, or you can face the challenges that you want. So it is very, very essential that you take charge, you take complete charge of your life and be responsible, Because I've seen people, they keep on blaming everybody else except themselves because they don't want to take responsibility of whatever is happening in their life. So it becomes very, very essential that at this point, this is high time that you start taking that charge, that control, that I want to lead the life in the way I want. So here, the point is that be the leader of your life and take charge of your life. So again, I'll quickly recap the 5 points. Number one, that uncertainty will continue. Number two, speed of change will be faster than ever. Number three, we must prepare for the uncertain times and to manage the speed of change. Number four, we must constantly re-educate ourselves and constantly self-educate ourselves. And number five, lead yourself and lead the change. So if we do points 3, 4, 5 correctly, we can easily manage the uncertain times and we can easily manage the speed of change. So that's primarily the 5 points that I wanted to cover.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Arora, for giving your 5 points formula. I'm sure the viewers have already noted and they will definitely like to follow what you have said. Now,
Welcome.
because of the paucity of time, I am going to put up question one by one, and I expect the answers in about 1.5 minutes, not more than that. First question goes to Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand, you said, forget about COVID, forget about everything. You must think positive. We must way forward. How we can forget these things, COVID? Today only there was a media report that one person from USA, he was advocating that no one should wear mask. It's all a political game. Everything is political. Nothing is called COVID. And now he is lying on a dead bed in a hospital. He's crying and he says, I have done a very big blunder. Please don't do it. If we have not learned the lesson, if we will forget everything, what is happening today in India? Dr. Anand, I can't say about your city in Mumbai, but I have seen all other cities today. Nobody is wearing mask. The first thing they say, why? There is no COVID. Why you are insisting for mask? Why the social distancing? We want to swim. We want swimming pool to be open. Why not everything is open? So my question is, if we will forget about the COVID, there will be no fear. If there is no fear, tomorrow what is going to happen again? What is happening in UK? So are you saying that we must forget everything and come up with a full bang and do the party? What has happened? You know that in the 2 weeks back in a 5-star deluxe hotel in Mumbai, only celebrities were dancing at 2:30 in the night. Is it correct, Dr. Anand?
Mr. Lal, you have raised a very pertinent question, and I'm delighted about it because this is my favorite area also. That lately, for last few years, ever since the media had become very widespread and easily available and accessible to everyone, more so by the internet. So each one of us is reading more, seeing more, listening more, learning more, but practicing least. We may know what is happening in Brazil or in Philippine Island, but we may not do anything what we are supposed to do. If each one of us make a resolve, whatever I'm supposed to do, I shall be doing it. As simple as brushing of the teeth is my responsibility. No one else in the world would wearing the mask or taking care that the virus doesn't reach me, affect me, affect my near dear ones is my responsibility primarily than anyone else. So, however extensively we may know or read or listen or learn is far less significant than what I do indeed practice. So, I would like to appeal through your program to everyone in English as well as in Hindi to all those who understand Hindi better than English. हमें पहले अपना और अपनों का, अपने शरीर का, अपने स्वास्थ्य का और अपने नियरेस्ट डियरेंस, अपने निजजन और प्रियजनों का ख्याल रखना है. अगर हम अपना रखेंगे तो हमारा पड़ोसी भी रखेगा, उसका पड़ोसी भी रखेगा, धीरे धीरे हमारे समाज का हर वर्ग रखेगा. दुनिया में कौन क्या कर रहा है, क्या नहीं कर रहा है, वो उसके अपने चॉइसेस हैं, अपनी पसंद है, अपने फैसले हैं, उसके अपने परिणाम उसे भुगतने हैं. ठीक वैसे ही हमें अपना ख्याल रखना है. ओवर टू यू मिस्टर लाल.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Now, my question goes to Ms. Poonam. Ms. Poonam, you have mentioned about SWOT analysis in one way. You say everyone has to see the his or her strength, weakness, and opportunities, and the threats, etc. But now my question to you is, do you think if we are talking of emotions, what emotions we have when the migrants are on the road? What emotions those migrants having today? Are they having emotions now? Forget everything. As you also mentioned, forget 2020. Can they forget their plight when they were walking for about 1,400, 1,500 kilometers on the foot without food, without any help? Can they forget in their whole life about this, or their generations can forget that? So how we can think about their own sweat analysis, how they can do it? Where are the emotions? The civil society is having no emotions. The government doesn't have emotions. Even the Supreme Court doesn't have emotions. Nobody helped them. Where is the emotion? Or we are only talking to a niche class about this SWOT analysis. We are not thinking about the 70 or 80% of our poor people who are staying in the villages. Ms. Poonam, please. 1 minute, please. You please unmute. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute.
Yeah, hello. It's a very valid question actually. But if you ask me, emotions are with everybody. Emotions don't see rich or poor or capable or incapable. Now, it was very sad that migrants had to walk all the way and there were no support. But I guess people on the way, like people who were staying where they were walking, should have had the courtesy to at least come out and help them, because government did nothing, and we all know this. So it was a sad situation. This was a one time thing happening in India, which I think was very very highlighted thing, but I think emotions, when you ask me, yes, emotions everybody has, and everybody has to work. Whether you are poor, that doesn't mean that you don't have emotions. You have. They must have felt bad, they must have felt cheated, they must have felt like the government doesn't take care of us. We give so much to the nation, we give so much to our country. They must have definitely felt that. But dwelling on your past will not give you anything. You will not achieve anything if you just keep thinking, oh, ये तो हुआ नहीं, ये तो किया नहीं, तो फिर आप मर जाएंगे, फिर आप
Okay.
जिएंगे कैसे? You need to. So
Okay.
I think we need
Okay.
to take care.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Now my question goes to Mr. Nitin. Mr. Nitin, you have talking about the technology, and you said about the farming industry. If the technology is so big and so advantageful, so the data says till yesterday, 21.3 million people suffered in USA, which is a developed country, and 361,000 people lost their life in USA, while in India, which is far behind USA technology-wise, we have only 10.4 million cases till yesterday, and only 1.50 or otherwise 150,000 people lost their life. I do not vouch for that. That I am not saying that 150,000 is a less amount, but India is 1/6 in population as far as USA is concerned. That is one, as far as the technology is concerned. So we cannot say the technology is very good. Now, coming to the farming sector, you have touched a very, very, very burning thing. I am sure you have not read the 3 farm acts which have come. I have done programs on that. The first thing is, if we will use the technology in India, where these farmers will go? USA, you have population size 1/6 of India, and the area is far, far bigger than India. So there you require all technology. While in India, we doesn't require. We have unemployment like anything. If we will use the technology, even in farming sector, where the job creation will be there. Secondly, and thirdly, farmers, what they are doing, our heart is bleeding, not for whether they are right or wrong. They are sitting in 1.1 degrees Celsius in Delhi, facing all the rains and winds. We are sitting in an air-conditioned room and talking about them. We have become inhuman. We all the civil society, including me. Mr. Nitin, please. 1 minute, please.
So definitely, Mr. Goel, very, very loaded questions here. You have a couple of questions here. So the first, part is about how the cases in US are higher. This is a very common question. I pretty much get this every week from my friends all over the world. How is this happening in US with such a developed nation? So as you know, the government is going to transition in the next couple of weeks. So
If
hopefully that will.
sorry, if they will, today what is happening in USA is a shame for all of us in the democratic system. Yes, please.
Exactly, and you point to the democratic system. I want to point out that the city where I live in, they were the first ones to file a suit, I think, in the state Supreme Court when there was a curfew that was being put in place in the city. So the US structure is very different from the democratic structure in India. Here you cannot have the military, or you cannot have certain type of curfews in place. And of course, I mean, there was a lot of politics that has been happening over the last 6-8 months. So that definitely did add to this issue. But people have a lot more freedom here. They have to decide, they have to choose. Unfortunately, because of negative promotion about various different things, it became it was election year, and it became a total mess. And it was,
Okay.
unfortunately, people lost their lives because of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
If you can take 30 seconds only.
yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, transition is painful. Transition is very, very painful. India being an agriculture centric and production centric society, it will go through some of that pain as well. But as I was mentioning, a lot of my colleagues, they have their families related to farming even now, but they're in the
Okay.
US working in a very different profession. So
Okay, thank you very much. Now my question goes to Ms. Garima Arora Kannan. You said to design the life. My question to you is, what about the underprivileged? What about the poor people? And you talk about the skill. In India, total population, the percentage is only 2.3% people are skilled. While if we will compare with other countries, like you can compare with UK, 68%, 75% Germany, 52% in USA, 80% in Japan, and 96% in South Korea. How we can design, how those people can design their own life for the way forward in 2021. 30 seconds for you.
So that is the responsibility for people like us. So that is where, lead yourself and lead the change comes in. Because if we are somebody who can design our life, we can help these underprivileged. We can take the route where it's not just about us, it's about others and how we can contribute to these people. So the responsibility lies on people like us who may not be the leaders by the designation, but still, we can lead the change, and we can take these learnings to these underprivileged and make them understand that, start creating a life for yourself. So it's the responsibility lies primarily on people like us who are educated and who've got the privileges.
Okay. Thank you very much. Because of the paucity of time, I would not like to comments now, but today you have seen that how our elite panel has given their views, and they are very, very clear that 2021 is going to be very positive. We must try to forget what have happened is happened, because we cannot change past, but definitely we can change the present and future. That is only possible if we all will think positively, as Dr. Anand has mentioned and all other panelists has mentioned, and we must way forward, go ahead and do our work with full capacity, rather extra capacity, thinking that what suffering we have to suffer, we should not suffer, and our generations coming they should also not suffer. So thank you very much. And today's program, which has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, Newsgaon se Samvad Saroka News, as well as was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day a new topic. And tomorrow our topic with media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. is role of youth in marketing innovation. And our chief guest of tomorrow is Dr. Mohanlal Agrawal, President Indo-Gulf Marketing Association, Dubai, former Professor of Marketing Innovation and Management, IIM Lucknow, XLRI Jamshedpur, and California State University, USA. He has been joined along with 7 youth leaders who will be interacting and discussing about the role of youth in marketing innovation. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Thank you very much, Ms. Poonam. Thank you very much, Mr. Nitin. And thank you very much, Ms. Garima, for joining us and giving your very enlightening views. Thank you, all the viewers.